Hey guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about spiritual bypassing. This is something that I think is really prevalent in the spiritual community and something that I think we need to take a deeper look at. There is this, I think, inaccurate depiction of when we're dealing with the negative, that if we just love light it away, it'll all be fine. And that if we look at the negative things, that we're going to attract them to us. And while there is some truth in that, you don't want to stay in, negative low frequency emotions and stay stuck in things that are really low frequency because that does affect your energetic field. It does affect what's being attracted back to you. However, we can't just love light it away. We have to be able to look at things that are more challenging, more difficult emotions, and actually acknowledge them, because if we are not acknowledging whether it's emotions or negative things that are happening out in the world and just pretending like stuff doesn't exist, that means we're in a state of resistance. And that does not help us heal or move through things. It just keeps it there. It's just you're stuck. Resistance just keeps things there. What you resist persists. And so I think it's really important that we look at when we have negative emotions or negative beliefs, instead of immediately going to just, okay, I need to think of positive things. I want to try to manifest this positive thing. We need to take some time and some space to actually look at the root cause of what's going on. Because again, if we're not acknowledging it, it's not going to go away. It's like if you have a dark, messy closet, you can close the doors and pretend like it's not there, but it doesn't make the mess inside the closet go away. The only way you can get rid of that mess is to shine a light on it and go through everything that's packed in there and clear it out. And so we have to do the same thing before we can bring in positive things into our lives, before we can manifest those positive things. If the root structure is not great, we have to clear that out. And you can only do that by acknowledging it. So, an example of this, I think a lot of people, when we experience anxiety, we have this tendency to push it away, push it away, push it away. You don't want to deal with the anxiety, it's overwhelming. And to be fair, there are times and places that it's not appropriate to sort through those emotions. However, if you can take a couple minutes when you're having anxiety to actually go inside and like emotionally go in and acknowledge what's happening, a lot of times you can move through it far more quickly. So I'm going to kind of give you an example of what I do when I encounter anxiety. And there's a video that I am going to attach to by Sam Morey, who he's not very well known. He's somebody I stumbled upon because he creates binaural beats, and I find those really helpful with meditation. But he occasionally puts out videos on consciousness and different things. And there was one that he did on um, what self-love actually looks like and our inner landscape. And I found it incredibly profound. And so I highly recommend going to watch that. But basically what I'm doing when I'm having a lot of anxiety, instead of continuing to just push it away, I take a second to kind of turn inward. And so I look at, what is actually causing this anxiety? And a lot of times it's layers of emotions. So I'll go in, okay, I'm feeling super anxious. What else is going on? Okay, I'm sad. Why am I sad? Well, I'm sad because this is triggering something that reminds me of something that happened in my childhood where I wasn't feeling seen or I felt lonely. Okay. So now I can acknowledge the reason I'm having anxiety is because I'm actually feeling loneliness and feeling this trigger from my childhood. And so I can go in and hold space for that younger part of myself. And what I'll do, because again, I've talked about this in my video with imagination. That is the language of spirit. Use your imagination. I use my imagination a lot when I work through energetic things. So, in my internal landscape, I envision that younger version of myself, and I will literally like embrace them, and I wrap us in a energetic blanket of like loving compassion, and I just sit with it and I just hold space for that part of myself that is being really reactionary. And usually within like 2 to 3 minutes, I'm able to move through that emotion and release it. And then that's when I can bring in the positive part of, attracting things through manifestation. So like once I move through that, then I will start working on, doing my positive affirmations and doing the types of visualization that help me bring those types of energetic resonance into my field so that I can manifest positive things. So I think it's really important that we look at all of this stuff in the many layers that are actually there and not just go straight to, okay, I'm having a hard time. I need to manifest something better. So I'm just going to shift into, love, light, and abundance, which is great. We want love, light, and abundance. We eventually want to end up there. But we cannot completely bypass the negative portions of our emotions just because it doesn't feel good. And that's what happens a lot of times. Again, same thing with when we see negative things out in the world. A lot of people are like, oh, don't focus on the negative. Don't focus on the negative. You don't want to focus on it, but you can't ignore it. We have to acknowledge that there are things that happen in our world that are not pleasant. And part of like a great example of this, if we don't look at them and acknowledge them, we repeat them. So, as a culture, as a society, we have to bear witness to some of the things that are happening in our world that are really hard and really difficult and really unpleasant. Because if we don't witness them, that's how we repeat things. Because what you resist, you will persist. So, just kind of want to give a little bit of a reminder to everybody that we do need to actually look at those difficult truths before we can move into the positive. Again, we always want to end in the positive, but we have to basically clear out the junk, clear out the negative portions before we can put the positive. You can't, like, again, with the closet analogy, you can't put new things in there if it's packed in with all the old, dark, gross stuff. Got to get that out before we can manifest something new. Energetic container, same way. If you're holding a lot of negative things, you don't have room to manifest. If all of this dark negative energy is stuck in there, you have to clear that out. We have to look at it. We have to bear witness. I love the saying, you have to feel it to heal it. So, just a reminder for everybody out there. And then another portion of that is sometimes when we have dark parts of ourselves that are hard to see, like when we have that shadow, that's why it's nice to do energetic work with another person, whether it's if you want to set up a session with myself, if you have a friend who is spiritual, where you guys can reflect each other's light back at each other. If there's another healing practitioner that you like, I have an energy worker that I go to work through a lot of my kind of dark portion or my shadow work. And sometimes like what my higher self was sharing with me is because it's our shadow, sometimes we need somebody else's light to shine into that shadow so we can see the true heart of the issue so that we can move through it. So, just another reminder, there are resources out there. Don't bypass it. Be courageous, look at it, heal it, and then move into the positive. But please like, share, subscribe. I love all you guys. Can't wait to hear from you and see you in the next video. Thank you so much.